Hi, everybody. I'm here with talking with comedian and friend of mine, Jay Yoder.
How's
And
it going?
very excited to have him here over Zoom today. He's made some time in his schedule. I want to talk to him because we're going to also be talking about the show that we're doing here in Pittsburg, Kansas. I can't believe he's agreed to come to Pittsburg, Kansas to see us. I didn't trick him by telling him it was the other Pittsburgh. But so we're going to get started. And I just wanted to say hello, Jay. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having. Now, your Pittsburgh doesn't have an H on the end, does it?
That's true. We dropped
There's,
that H. We
there's
had
a
to be
distinct.
original, I
No,
guess.
that's fine. I feel like even though I'm leaving Pennsylvania to go to Kansas, I still feel like because it's Pittsburgh, I'm close. I'm still close to home.
Yeah.
I actually looked on a map. I'm sad to say that I'm a teacher, and I had no idea geographically just how far Kansas is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because we're doing the whole family's loading up. You sent an amazing care package for us. And yeah, we're excited to hit the road. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. And so can you tell me like how did you get started in comedy?
It's an interesting. I think when I think about that, I think like I always like making people laugh. I moved a ton as a kid, and I think that was always like an easy way to, you know, distract people from other things or just to fit in somewhere. And so, or if there was tension at home, I think like using humor was something that, was always part of my tool belt. Um, I don't think I really thought about comedy as a thing until we had a faculty talent show, probably like 10 or 12 years ago. And they wanted me to do something I used to do occasionally at the staff happy hours, which was my impression of Matt Foley from SNL. So like Chris, I'm actually, it's funny enough, and I didn't plan this. I'm actually wearing a Matt Foley shirt
Perfect.
right now. But I used to like, yeah, I did acting and stuff growing up. And so I was really good at doing his voice and doing that whole bit of the motivational speaker. And they convinced me to do it for the faculty talent show. And my one buddy was like, yeah, we'll do that for the faculty talent show. I'm like, you mean I'll do that for the faculty talent show? He's like, well, I'll direct. Um, and I was worried the kids weren't going to know, the skit because it was so long ago. And that's like the only good thing about YouTube. Like YouTube, for as much as we give it, uh, you know, trouble. Like I saw a story today where an 11-year-old was arrested in like, I forget where, but she did a prank saying her friend was kidnapped because it was a YouTube challenge.
Oh my
Like
God.
there's all these terrible things about YouTube, but the one good thing about YouTube is that kids found Matt Foley after I did this skit.
Awesome.
I think that was like the first thing I did comedically, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then the pandemic hit, and we weren't laughing as much, my wife and I. And we used to go to comedy clubs. Our last date before the pandemic, was Valentine's Day of 2019 at our local club, just as patrons, just as like we love comedy. And they had an open mic during the pandemic, and we would go just to get out of the house. And a couple weeks in, I turned to my wife and I was like, I think I could do that. And she said, prove it. And here we are. So,
Awesome.
and I found you, which was cool because then I got a couple books because I'm a nerd. So the first thing I did was like, oh, let me read up on it. I want to be a student of it. And I read two books, Mastering Stand Up by Stephen Rosenfield and The Comedy Bible by G. Carter, I want to say. And that was the one, funny enough, that was the one where they challenged you to do different exercises. And one of them was to find a partner on Facebook to do comedy with. And I made a post, and you liked the post, and I commented, and then we didn't even think we were going to be a good match. You were apprehensive at first, and then we started meeting on Zoom like this and pitching bits to each other. I remember being in the parking lot on like my lunch break, like on Zoom with you or like and stuff, and that was something when it really turned into just, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I did this to
Yeah.
treating, like a career.
Well, yeah, I think it was funny too because we actually discovered we had so much more in common than we thought.
Yeah.
first
Right.
because we were both Spanish teachers.
Oh, yeah. The
And
whole, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what life throws at you like that.
yeah. So really glad that we ended up being comedy buddies. And
And
um,
then you got me in touch with the American Comedy Institute. I took a workshop with them after your recommendation, and now I'm the director of operations for that place. So
amazing.
like, it's it's crazy, and so I'm grateful to you, and I'm so excited to meet your family. I'm excited to be in your town. I think that what you're doing there to try to bring comedy to that area and how hard you've been working, sorry, has been awesome. So I think you deserve so much praise for making this all happen. So kudos to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that so much. And I'm so grateful that you're coming to our little town. And I think it's going to be a wonderful show. Um, so tell me about some of the shows and projects that you're working on
Yeah, we
currently.
have a lot of fun stuff. Actually, right now I'm in a hotel room in Louisville. I think that's how you say it, Louisville, Kentucky. We're actually doing a string of shows here with board teachers. So I'm on the board teachers comedy tour. There's actually two tours. I did the theater tour in the spring, and now we're doing all these comedy clubs. And it's called Teachers Do Stand Up, and it's really exciting. I'm with a couple great teacher comedians, Mike Rivera, who was actually named ABC's funniest teacher. We have Andrea Kaspari, who's Rye Bar special out, has been doing comedy for 20 years beyond being a teacher. And Leslie Robb, who's an amazing comedian out of the DC area, really blown up on social media under Leslie Robb Comedy. So yeah, I'm with all these great people who are teachers, so we get each other and we get to go entertain all of these other teachers and help them kind of vent and process and just laugh about all the stuff so that we can be recharged and ready to go in September.
Yeah, that's amazing. How much fun is it to be with that group of people?
Oh my God. I mean, we were laughing the whole ride. It was like a 4 hour ride here. We were in Columbus, Ohio before that. And like Andrea was so funny. We stopped at this pilot and to go to the restroom. And so we're in this like white Sprinter van kind of thing. And Andrea goes out we all go to the bathroom. It was kind of busy in there. So, I'm a guy, Mike's a guy, fast pass. Every guy is a fast pass at the bathroom. Then we get back, we're waiting on Andrea. I'm in the car waiting on my phone, and I hear our tour manager being like, Andrea, no, that's not our van. She just randomly opened another white van. It was like a worker's van. Like they had a ladder on top. And it was like
Oh
two chiseled dudes. And she just like opens the door and she's like, yeah, it was really weird. I opened their side door and all I saw was pink insulation.
no.
It was just, and they were like, what is going on? She's like, I didn't even say, I just shut the door and came over
Oh
here.
my gosh. I'm so
It's just like funny stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun.
That's
We were,
funny.
yeah,
I'm so glad that one of your comedians didn't get kidnapped that day by
yeah, right. I
accidentally
was
going
like,
the wrong white van.
right. Yeah. It was like pink cotton candy. They're like, we got candy. Get in the van, Andrea. Well, that's what she said. She texted her husband and he's like, imagine what your story would have been if you got in the van. Like, how different would the narrative be if you got in the
Hopefully
van?
wouldn't be missing for the show tonight. Oh my goodness.
So that's been really cool. But I have a lot of other fun stuff I've been diving into. Obviously, I'm the director of operations for the American Comedy Institute, which is cool because it's like when I first knew I wanted to be a teacher. I really got into tutoring at first, and I was helping other students. And now through the American Comedy Institute, I get to kind of do that. All these aspiring people, or not even people who maybe want to be comedians. These are just people who maybe want to get over a fear of public speaking or want to be a more of an extrovert and want to be entertained at a party and have a few things to say. Like there's skills that go with getting up in front, stand up, and it's like I teach Latin for the last 15 years. So people say, why Latin? Like, how is that relevant? I'm like, well, it is. It's like taking your brain to the gym. You know what I mean? I may not expect people to be Latin philosophers when they come out, but you're better for it. And I think when you do stuff like stand up, you have to be so vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there like a singer songwriter trying to say, do you like my lyrics? I think there's something about that that's good for anybody. So it's cool in that role. I get to help all these people who wanted to try stand up and or already are stand-ups and they want to take it to the next level. It's like really kind of come where you are and we'll help you get where you want to go. And so that's a cool role. I'm also doing podcasts. I have a podcast called Seriously Dad with another Philly comedian named Albert Davis. And we're very different people and we're both dads, but we're both dads in very different senses. He's a custody dad, so he only sees his kids, on the weekends or every other. And I live with my wife, have 2 kids. So, and we bring on guests who have kids. And so it's always like interesting because we might talk about a singular topic, but we each come at it from a different angle. And that drops every Sunday. And then just in general, doing stand-up, just working the clubs, not just doing teacher stuff, just doing comedy in general has been really fun. So yeah, I just keep moving. Things just keep coming my way and I keep embracing it and, loving it.
Well, in that case, I wanted to ask you, the next thing is, where do you get the energy?
Yeah, I was always like shot out of a cannon. I blame that on my parents. They were both working nurses and so just very busy. So like I was kind of like a latchkey kid, so nobody was ever home when I got home from school. So they worked hard to keep me busy. So like swimming, karate, like, I mean, it was just a marathon, acting, dancing, tap, like gymnastics, basketball, you name it. I tried it, played it, did it for a season. And so I think that was just something that was always in me. Like, it was always like, there was always an itinerary. It wasn't me just going home and sitting around. It was, I got to rush home and, throw a lean cuisine in the microwave because I got to get to swim practice or, so I think that was something that just was instilled in me and I can't sit still. And that's a thing in my family. Like when you get to know your parents as you get older and you're like, oh, okay, it's all adding up now. I see where I get that from. And I go over visit my uncle who still lives in Scranton and he drives the bus for the city and he takes so many extra shifts. And when he's not, he can't sit still. You'll never see him just sitting in front of the TV unless he's like seeing if he won the lottery at like 6:15 for the news. Like he's just moving. And I think that gene must be in me,
Yeah. You need to bottle that and sell it or something because I could use a little bit of that.
I know. When I think about it, it's like, wow, I was a full-time teacher still. I got 2 kids, one of which is special needs. We put them in activities like left and right. This week, my daughter's Little Miss Kimberton Fair ambassador. Wow. So she goes every day to the fair, and her goal is to make sure people are enjoying the fair. She helps judge the cow contests and the bike raffles, and so she has a little job to do every night for like an hour, and then she gets to go ride the rides, and she dresses up in a dress every night, wears her sash. And it's hard. I got to be there for the first day before I flew out, and then my wife's got it, and so my wife's obviously so supportive. We have my mom living with me, so we have a huge support system, and I'm excited because they're going to come on this trip with me to Kansas, and we're going to make this like our family vacation. We're going to get in the car on the 8th, and our first stop, we're going to stop in I think St. Louis to see the Arch.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah.
And then we're making our way the rest of the way to you, and we're gonna, I don't know, find the biggest ball of yarn. I don't know, whatever's along the ride. We're gonna just go like old school National Lampoon family vacation.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you'll be taking some video along the way. I'm sure that you'll be making some good podcasts or some TikToks and things.
Yeah, the social media. You gotta do the social media. I'm having a lot of fun with that. I started doing memes and like video clips of like Seinfeld or whatever, but then putting oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's twice that happened.
Oh, you're fine.
So just doing the syntax of teachers going back to school right now is like the big topic. So having a lot of fun trying to like repurpose some of those, and people are really enjoying them. I just did Jennifer Lawrence, one of her at the Oscars, not knowing what to do after the press conference, like the first teacher's day of school. And it's like just about to hit 1 million views on Facebook, and I'm like, that's
Oh, wow.
crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's great.
great.
Well, it's cool because once you that's what comedy, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find relatable stuff and like and give us all something to laugh about so that we don't cry on the way to school, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I know that you work so hard, and I'm so happy that you've taken some time to be with me here today, and also to take this trip to Kansas with your family. I can't wait to meet your family. They sound
Oh,
amazing. Um,
my family is great. My wife's very much the opposite of me. She's very reserved and quiet, but but she's so funny because like she'll send me a lot of the stuff I send out are like her subverting. Like she's like my manager. It's like I guarantee you she'll find mics along the way as we're going. Like because people are like, oh, your wife must be so mad. I'm like, she's the one that I'm probably here because of something she did to push me here. So um, it's cool because we're kind of like this perfect yin yang team. And then our daughters are adorable. They're just the sweetest. And they're just becoming these beautiful little women, and they're quirky, they're fun, and they get what they know what I'm doing, and it's kind of, my youngest now kind of tries to crack jokes, or she's like, oh, you should put that in your little act. She's like that. She's
yeah,
funny. She's a little.
I love that. I love how our family support, and my family supports me as well. I don't get out nearly as much as you do, and so I'm looking to take some lessons there. But
Well, you've had to work hard to kind of bring, like, I'm lucky because, like, being right outside of Philadelphia, I'm 2 hours from New York, I'm 2 hours from DC. I can get into Philly in a half hour. So it's like I can go to a mic every single night without really exerting too much. Where I know for you, that's not geographically, that's a harder thing. So you've had to create
Mhm.
some of those things. So I mean, that's cool. We're doing what we got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'm also not quite as energetic. So I don't know if I could drive 2 hours on a weeknight or anything to get it and then get
I'll tell
back
you
and
what,
go to work.
it gets
I
wearing.
just yeah, but I admire you for all of that. And I'm so glad you're coming to visit. Can't wait to meet your wife and your mother and your beautiful daughters. Um, we'll be looking forward to having you August 11th at the Lincoln Center here in Pittsburg, Kansas. You can buy tickets on Regina W Comedy on Facebook. And I'll be putting out that link in a few more locations. It's on Ticket Leap if you look up Regina W Comedy on Ticket Leap. But anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah, I'll put it out on my site, yodercomedy.com, whether you do the letter J or JAY. It's all the same. I bought both domains.
Oh, good idea.
But I'll put it out on my social media too, and we're gonna pack the place. We're gonna have a great time, and I can't wait to come to Kansas. Like I just can't wait. I've never been. It's a new state for me. My daughter's really excited. We're gonna try to hit as many states in our loop as we can. So
we'll have the best fried chicken here for you, and a big steam engine, big Brutus, and some other things that we'll find to do, and it'll be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it.
awesome. Can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Great. Thank you, Jay.